Thank you everyone who's watching on YouTube. I know we just went live on YouTube. This gonna be good. I did promise you guys that after doing the Lucy Letby documentary post, Lucy Letby documentary, I guess watch party thingy that we did, that I was gonna do another live, and that's just to give people more content today. I know I've been giving out a lot of content, but yeah, because the live got taken down on YouTube when we were watching the Lucy Letby documentary, I said I was going to do another USA live because everybody loves the USA lives. So let's just set it up on TikTok, and we'll wait for people to come in. We do our little sound checks and whatnot. I really want to go live on Facebook as well. So I wonder if I can just stream on Facebook too. We'll stream on Facebook next time. But yeah, hopefully we can do the Facebook stream while we do it. So as you guys know, soon people will start filling in from TikTok. If you're on the YouTube, then you're here early. It's always good to be in the YouTube chat, my opinion. And you can watch on YouTube at State of Deception. If you're watching on TikTok, we're just going live on TikTok right now. I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay. Girl, you know you are a mystery to me. Yeah, and you know what you mean to me. She told me, baby, don't be mean to me. I said, girl, you know you are a mystery to me. What's up? It's Ash. What's up, Kelly? Thank you for joining the live. What's up, Jamie Paddock? What's up, Abigail Hess? What's up, Mars? TikTok viewers, we are live, baby. So what's the time now? 10 o'clock. I think the Americans will be here soon as well, because it's what, like 5 p.m. in America, in most states, I reckon. 6 p.m. No, 4 p.m. You know. Mars says he agrees. Mars, we're gonna have a good live. What's up, Will M? What's up, Jamie Smith? What's up, Sully? What's up, Emma Base? Guys, tap the screen to like the live. We just started the live. It's not that the live doesn't have a lot of viewers. It's that we just started. We just went live. We're taking debates. I want the smoke. What's up, Connor Rainier? What's up, AMJ? What's up, Grow a Garden? LHB. Mars says they have freedom of speech. Exactly, and that's probably what I'd say. That might be the number one. That might be the first thing that makes the USA, or the primary thing I should say, that makes the USA better than the UK is freedom of speech. There's so many things cascade from freedom of speech. It helps you to expose corruption. It helps you to truly know what's going on around you. Freedom of press, freedom of protest. Like, there's so many things that come along with freedom of speech. And then also just not having a pussy-ass country that doesn't allow you to say what you want. Evie says, as a Brit, only we can talk ish about our country. I like that. I'm a Brit too. So what's up, Chele? What's up, Curly Murley? What's up, Max? What's up, John? Somebody. Leah. Dark Skin Coffee's in the house. What's up, Dark Skin Coffee? Newsflash is in the house. What's up, DJ Nige? What's up, Switch Kick MMA? Oh, I know what Switch Kick is. Oh, you don't want to get caught with a Switch Kick, baby. What's up, Rue? What's up, Blitzy? What's up, Empress? District. Evie says, oh, what's Evie saying? I kind of agree, but only under Republican control. It's still better even with the Democrats control, but it definitely is. It's better under Republican control. As I always say, Republicanism is essentially Americanism. Like, it's the Republican tradition that people consider what America to be what America actually is. I know people won't admit it because, you know, politics and stuff, but really that is the truth. Evie says currently the UK is awful. Oh my god. There was some guy that was just arrested. I was just watching this video, guys. Let me play this video actually. I was just watching a video about some 17-year-old that got arrested.
These battles.
Oh, let's hear.
And you accused me of being in an area.
This is the UK, by the way.
Well, when I saw that
Uber.
This is the UK. People getting arrested for speech offences.
So, quick context there. I was arrested for Section 14 of the Public Order Act. I attempted to leave through booking Uber, and I was not part of an assembly or protest. I was booked in for 24 hours. Midway through the night, I was woken up, and they gave me even more bullshit charges, citing videos that I've done in the past. And my bail ends at the 30th of October. I'm not allowed in Epping, and there's a few others that I can't really go into detail.
So they arrested a 17-year-old for being in the wrong place, I guess. And then he got charged with incitement of racial hatred because he said that he thinks economic migrants should be deported. Unbelievable. The UK police are now arresting teenagers for saying that they don't think that economic migrants should be in the country. Unreal. District said you can't say America's better when the UK basically is the USA. This is the new tactic that the UK citizens use. Oh, we're basically the same. It's not the same. Freedom of speech is a real thing in America. It's not a real thing in the UK. Look at your schools. Look at your government. Yeah. Better than the UK. I'm not American anyway. Blitzy says, do you ever get people in here defending and saying it's good to arrest people for speech? All the time. I'd say about 50 to 60% of the British citizens that I debate with think that arresting people for speech offences is a good thing. They say, oh, but what if they're being racist? And they think that it makes sense to arrest somebody because you perceive them as being racist. Glenn says UK is better at golf. Prometheus is in the YouTube chat talking about, agreed, America's a constitutional republic. Oh, sorry, can you see? Only thing I'd say UK is better is food. I would somewhat agree with that. I think the food is better in London for sure. And food quality. At least the USA sticking up for the UK free speech. Thank you, USA. Well, you know, I don't know if they really are. You would hope that Trump would offer amnesty to people who are arrested, or not amnesty, asylum to people who are arrested for speech offences or something like that. MCE says, by my experience, UK is better. The big cities aren't safe. Traditional parts are usually safer. I mean, that's pretty much true everywhere, isn't it? That big cities are less safe. Unqualified Genius says, yes, it's true. Blitzy says, thoughts on reform, UK leading the polls. I don't think reform is going to change UK for the better. I don't think it'll necessarily, maybe a little bit for the better, but I don't think they have the solutions that the UK needs. Right, have we been live limited? Okay, anyway, Daniel is requesting to join. So, guys, tap the screen to like the live, boost us on the likes. We're almost at 1,000. What's up, Daniel?
Oh, I'm good. And you?
I'm good.
I think the UK is better than the US by far, like a lot of margin. I think the only thing the US has over the UK is just some of their amendment rights. Apart from that,
you mean like freedom of speech?
yeah. Apart from that, they're still far behind when it comes to modern civilization.
What do you mean by they're far behind when it comes to modern civilization?
So,
The USA is a more modern civilization than the UK.
In the UK, we can all say, okay, yeah, what's going around nowadays is quite very bad. When we're talking about the protests and all that. But when it comes to human relationship, it's still not really based on race-based, if you get what I mean.
Human relationships aren't based on race in the USA. They're just based on...
No, it's mainly... It depends on where you go to, actually, but...
Where do you think you would go in the USA where your relationships would be based solely on race or mainly on race?
Arkansas.
Sorry?
Arkansas.
Where? Sorry?
Arkansas.
I don't know where that is, mate. Is that a state?
Yeah, let me
like what state is that in?
I'm coming.
Oh, Arkansas. Oh, Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's places in Arkansas where people don't like certain people of other types. There's also places in the UK. There's also places in the UK where people don't really like people of other types as well. So, what's your point?
Yeah, but sorry. Okay, have you seen the documentary about the school swapping between the British student and the American student?
No.
You should actually check that. Then you will actually see more. How will I put it? From a young age, is more profound there compared to the UK. If you get what I mean.
I get what you're trying to say, but I've spent a lot of time in the USA, so I wouldn't need to watch a documentary to see how people are treated racially. Because
what side?
I've been to multiple different states in the United States.
Because I think it's where you go to that you really get the exposure. If you understand what I mean.
I mean, I was just in the South for 3 months.
Oh, 3 months. I think that's why.
No, but like, what do you think happens in those places? You think that, like, what do you think happens to people of other races in these places?
So all I explain it is, you can't actually have a conversation without it still going back to race. I'm not sure. Do you get what I mean?
No, I think that's just you projecting.
No, I'm not. I'm not actually. No.
So you think you can't have conversations in the USA without people bringing up race?
Yeah, if you're actually going deep. I'm not talking about surface conversations. I'm talking about like if you're going into a deeper conversations.
So you think people are just not having normal everyday conversations without talking about race?
That's why I said deep conversations. When you're going deeper.
Do you think that there's something about Americans that is fundamentally different from other human beings, such that they can't have normal conversations about normal topics?
Yes.
Okay. And do you
The
think
history,
don't you think it's kind of ironic that you are concerned about people projecting racial issues onto others, and you are kind of projecting your own racial paranoia onto Americans, 350 million people, and you're stereotyping them as people that can't have conversations without bringing up race. It's kind of ironic how you think it's okay to stereotype Americans and bring up race when you speak about Americans, and you're falsely accusing them of doing that, but it's actually you doing it and projecting it onto them.
Okay. Actually, I think I just have to make things clear so that it won't sound like I'm trying. Number one, I'm not actually given a prejudice mindset. You only work with what you've been given, and we are both different people exposed to different things. So I think that's where we're coming from, different
That's
places.
the definition of
Me-
prejudice, is
No,
being exposed
I'm
to
not
something different and then
prejudice is
using that to
something.
make a judgment about somebody. That's the definition of prejudice, is
No, no,
your
and
perception
also
of
I'm also
Americans
not.
is prejudice.
I'm not even given a prejudice mindset.
You've just expressed prejudice by suggesting that Americans can't have conversations without bringing up race. That's your prejudice against Americans.
So I said a deeper conversation.
No,
I wasn't even
but
talking
you
about normal conversation.
but what you I mean, have you ever lived in America?
No, I've not.
So
But
you
I've
don't
lived
have
there.
any experience of America. You have a preconceived idea of America that you're projecting onto Americans, and you're saying that's somehow not prejudice.
I'm coming. I think we're not saying the same thing. I'm talking about when you're having a dialogue, when it has to come, like speaking about what's happening in the society.
Let me
That's what
just
I'm talking about.
let me try to simplify what I'm saying. Do you think it's
Okay.
okay for someone to watch videos and like music videos and films about black people, and then make assumptions about black people being involved in crime, or do you think that's okay?
Now that's been prejudice.
That's
Yes. No, that's
prejudice.
not okay.
Okay, but then
Yes.
you have done the same thing. You've watched films and
No.
wait, let me finish. You've watched films and
Okay.
television about Americans, and then you've made an assumption that they can
I
only.
didn't even say anything about watching
You're
films.
doing the exact same thing that you're
No,
accusing
no, I think
Americans of.
you're forgetting my basis. What I actually said. I said compared to America, in the UK, you can actually still do without having the concept of, oh, you're from this race, you're from this. And I told you about the school swapping. This is not about they're just trying. Like, I'm not talking about what people are saying, what I've been seeing on social media. I'm saying that in America, compared to the UK, we're talking about two countries already. We're doing contrast and comparison. You can still function in most of the cities without it being about race and all that.
Yeah.
Now, compared to the US,
So
compared to the
wait.
US,
This is
you
crazy.
can't actually function in every city compared to other cities without bringing the issue of race. And that's what I'm saying.
Wait. This is crazy. So let me ask you a question, right? You said
Okay.
in Arkansas. So do you know what the black population of Arkansas is? It's probably like
I,
20%. Right. Arkansas's black population
okay.
percentage is 15.6%. So what if you can't live and function in Arkansas without race being a factor? What are those people doing? What are the 15.6% of black people in Arkansas doing?
Sorry, can you say that again? Sorry. I was actually just
You
checking
said
something.
that you can't function in certain places in America based without race being brought up. But what do you
I
think
didn't say
that the people?
function.
What is your
I
point?
had,
What is your point about
oh,
race?
wait, I think you're taking from a different perspective. I said in the UK. Okay, I'll give you an example now. There was a popular statement that came out, and everyone had a different opinion about it, which was the you know about the DEI stuff.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to know your opinion about it before I actually even say anything about it first.
My opinion about DEI,
Yes, before I even say anything about
it's
it.
ridiculous.
Was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous to promote people based on their characteristics as opposed to the merits of their abilities.
Okay. But the first thing that I I had to even when I had a discussion with someone about DEI was that I asked them what was the main reason why DEI was kept in place.
Because of communists who tried to push their ideology and fundamentally change the ideology of what it means to be American into some kind of like social democratic like ideology. So they push things like DEI because they're basically communists. They I won't say communists. They're social Marxists. They want to radically change the how power is distributed in the society and force certain groups to have power, even if they don't have the merits that naturally make them obtain power.
So will you now say that everyone that's benefited from DEI doesn't have the merit? That it was only because of DEI they got into where they are?
No, I would say statistically it's less likely that they got in a position based on merit because of the feature of DEI being present. So statistically it means that they're less likely to have earned a position. Doesn't mean that all of them didn't earn a position.
So if I now make a statement saying that if I was in a plane and I saw maybe a black pilot, and I have to be thinking of their qualification because of DEI, what does that actually make me?
That makes you a logical person.
A logical person?
Yeah.
Knowing fully well that you can't be a pilot without having certain degrees.
No. I don't think you understand the point that was Charlie Kirk that said that, right? The point being made is that because of the presence. The point being made is that because of the presence of that feature, it necessarily means that a percentage of people will be in their position based on unearned an unfair advantage, and so it forces you to question people who have those characteristics because it is possible that they got their position based on unfair advantage as opposed to based on merit.
So now we're having a deeper conversation. Do you see now, because we have to still talk about race if we're having a deeper conversation now, and
we're talking about race because you brought it up.
No, but literally now we're talking about something that is a dialogue in the society now.
That dialogue is not about race. That dialogue is about when there's a feature of something present and it affecting the likelihood of somebody having something based on merit. That the conversation is not actually about race. It's about what happens when you give certain people unfair advantages.
I actually just asked you now that if I see a black pilot and I'm thinking of DEI, you said that's a logical thing. But I'm telling you that without having some certain degrees, you can actually just become a pilot. It's not something any random person can.
But the problem is you're not understanding the statement that person made. Nobody is saying that the black pilot had to have an unfair advantage. They're saying that the presence of something like DEI can make people question if they have an unfair advantage by virtue of the fact that it gives certain types of people unfair advantages.
And literally, that's what I'm saying. On a normal day, you're not having these conversations in the UK compared to America. You're not
because people in the UK accept the idea of DEI. That's why.
Literally, that's literally what I'm saying. That.
So you're saying because Americans are willing to challenge unreasonable ideas, that somehow makes them racist?
So you still there's nothing like unreasonable advantage. So I'll give you an example now. The government can bring a principle, then it's still taken and maybe misused by people, but doesn't mean it wasn't kept there. The AI wasn't kept there because of people wanting to give unfair advantages. It was because the minorities were having the same level of advantages as the majority.
No, they were having an unfair advantage. That's the whole point.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to do some certain things that a normal majority would have been able to do.
They were allowed to do. No, they were allowed to do it. They just had less.
They weren't.
They just had less success doing those certain things, and so they brought in DEI in order to try to promote an equality of outcome. The equality of opportunity already existed, so it's not really about race. It's about equality of outcome, and they used a bad policy to try to obtain equality of outcome, and it caused friction in the society. But the friction was not necessarily caused by Americans. It's being caused by people who push divisive ideas onto Americans. And the funny thing is you are in support of those divisive ideas, and then you blame Americans for being against a divisive idea.
I'm not sure you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, you tell me.
Yeah. I think I have to maybe make just explain it a little bit slow. We've had I think something I can say that is a deep conversation now. And I'm saying compared to the UK. Okay, let's bring a discussion about the UK that we can now use to contrast a subject of DEI in America. If you have any topic that we can use to contrast something that has to do with people from different backgrounds, different
You mean like the
ethnicities.
one of the most popular discussions right now in the UK,
that
which
can
would
be
be
compared
about the
to
asylum seekers in the hotels and people accusing people who are against the asylum seekers being put in the hotels, being people accusing them of being racist. You mean a discussion like that, which is inherently
So
tantamount
if
to
we
a
have to
discussion about
compare
race?
now, if we have to compare now, then you I think then you'll be able to understand my point a little bit.
I don't think you're making a coherent point.
We've had a discussion now, and I'm saying why I literally said this. Compared to America, the UK can still function without having a substantial clashing between ethnicities and saying that, oh, because you're from these, like, you don't have to actually still talk about race when you're having a relationship within the
But I
general
was in
society.
America for 3 months and nobody brought up race at all. You brought up
Literally,
race because
you were there for 3 months.
you're projecting
It's
your
not
own
projecting.
paranoia onto Americans. That's the point I'm making. You can live in
It's,
America without
li-
bringing up race.
it's literally not projecting.
You
I'm
are
just saying the
projecting.
fact.
You've never been
The
there,
thing is,
and the only person who's brought up the discussion about race and Americans is you. But when I was in America, nobody brought up race at all. But your whole argument is that you can't live in America without people bringing up race. It makes no sense. Final thoughts? Okay, I'm just gonna drop you down because I didn't, you didn't want to give your final thoughts. We got some other requesters that I've invited on. We're streaming live on YouTube as well, guys. So check us out on YouTube. Prometheus is always on the YouTube. Thank you, Prometheus. We're live on YouTube at State of Deception. If you look at this thing up here, you'll see at State of Deception on YouTube. Okay. Crazy Cat and Mortal says this guy uses anecdotes. He's not as slick as he thinks he is. Who's using anecdotes? What's up, Crazy?
Hey, bro. How's it going?
I'm good. Are you okay? You go. You speak.
Sorry. So the topic of the conversation is the USA is better than the UK.
Yeah.
Oh, are you hating on my voice?
What?
I'm trying to ascertain if I'm being hate crimed or not.
What are you talking about?
Oh, no, it's okay. What I'm trying to say is that, so why do you think the USA is better than the UK?
I think they have a better understanding of what the basic necessities are to have a functioning society, and they have a better understanding of civil liberties, and the citizens have more rights, and there's more opportunity. And ultimately, I think societies like the UK, which rely heavily on like the public sector and public institutions, I think long term they end up running into serious problems, and that's what we're seeing in the UK. And I think it would be better if there was more deregulation in the UK and a society more similar to the USA. I think we need a new Bill of Rights, Constitution, etc. All of that in the UK. I think the UK has an outdated system.
I don't think you're incorrect. I think if we separate certain things, I think the USA does really well on issues of speech. I've just been in spaces, and so that the majority of my time on social media has been spent on Twitter, and it's been spent on Twitter, and in those kind of spaces. And I think we do really well to disagree with each other on Twitter in a way that perhaps like TikTok, you can't do that. You can't replicate that environment. I can literally write, I disagree with this policy and for this reason, and it's collated. Whereas on TikTok, you go on spaces or whatever you call it, you go on lives, and you can't replicate that same environment, and I find that worrying.
What? I don't understand what you're talking about. Why are you talking about TikTok and Twitter?
I think because I grew up in an environment, so I'm an older millennial, and so when I was arguing with people, as somebody who's interested in policy, I don't think you're wrong. I think the title of this space, or the title of your live, is a legitimate one. I think it's a legitimate title. But how we would approach that title back in my day, as somebody who was born in 1994, we would go in and say, okay, I disagree with this particular aspect, or for this reason, and I would come at you with a policy or a particular position. I wouldn't just come and just say, I wouldn't just come and scream at you. I would say, I disagree that the USA is
I'm so confused
not
right
better
now.
than the UK because of X reason, and this is based on this reasoning.
I just gave you reasons.
And I'm saying that the reasons that I would give you were based on something that you would have to read rather than say.
Such as,
do you know what I mean?
I mean, like what?
So I don't disagree that the USA is better than the UK. I've lived in both countries. I'm married, and I've lived in both countries. So I don't necessarily disagree with your topic, but for me, I just find it difficult to engage with all of this because it's tricky, because there's no way for me to quickly disagree with you and then talk about the topic at hand. Do you know what I mean? So
you could have used all of this time to talk about what you wanted to talk about, but you kind of just been going around in circles, kind of yapping.
Yeah. True. And you can remove.
What?
And you'll remove me when it's convenient for you, and you will do that, and you can remove me any time, and there's no way for me to disagree with you.
I will do that because I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, we got 6 guest requests. Let's just do them in order. I have no idea what that person was talking about. Exactly. So you want more educated? High percent of Americans go uni. Interesting. We provide a comprehensive UK driver license acquisition. The USA isn't even the best country in North America. What country do you think is better? Canada? Canada's not better than the UK, brother. What's up, Trippine?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you got a bit of a delay though.
Shit. Oh wait, hold up. My bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, literally, bro. I'm not even here to debate you, by the way. I'm just here to say that I appreciate you and not getting emotional, by the way, and actually having good knowledge and not like TikTok knowledge and everything. You know what you're talking about, bro. I actually really appreciate that.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
I'm from the UK too, bro, and I agree with everything you're saying. And people saying the things about free healthcare, no, we get taxed heavy on everything, bro. 20% VAT for online purchases. We got sugar tax.
By the way,
alcohol
I think
tax.
they're going to increase VAT as well.
To how much?
I don't know. Rachel Reeves, I think there was a headline saying that she didn't rule out increases on VAT. They're going to raise taxes in the UK soon. It's crazy.
Oh no.
They're going to raise them, bro. Unbelievable.
And as well as that, I mean, like the what people are talking about. So I hope people in the chat know, like when they say free healthcare and everything, yeah, that's great and all, but when you earn in over 50,000, I believe it is, or 100,000, you get 49% taxed off of you. And where does that go? Into the infrastructure, into the NHS, which is on its knees, by the way.
I've done a lot of calculations with regards to expenditure by the average US citizen and the average UK citizen. And if you're in the UK, once you're earning like 40 to 50 grand a year, your healthcare is pretty much more expensive than the average US citizen.
Yeah, exactly. And me,
in fact, it's
way,
probably lower because I'm really fair to the UK stats when I do it. And technically speaking, if you have a health insurance premium in the USA, let's say you have a health insurance premium in the USA, and it's like, let's say you're paying like $10,000 a year on healthcare for like you and like your son or something, right? That's like $5,000 per person. But if you actually do the average tax contribution calculation per person in the UK, it's like £4,400 per person. But hang on a minute, that per person is not just working adults. That's also newborn babies, grandmas. So those people, although they're technically getting it for free, when you do the average expenditure number is per person. So technically speaking, per person, we're paying like $6,000 a year on healthcare, including like newborn babies. That's per them as well, right? So obviously, like, you know, it's most people who are earning, again, over like 40k a year, they would be better off in the USA. And even if you're like really low income, yes, healthcare would be more expensive for you in the USA, but you're getting a far better quality of healthcare at every level, at every income level.
Oh yeah, and I also, no offense to you, by the way, but the people in chat are stupid. What's it called? When people say like you're paying £0 for an ambulance, £0 for insulin and all that, I saw that in there. I hope they do know that the taxes you pay in the UK, you're paying for not only your own, yes, fair enough, but how often do you realistically go to the doctors and hospital? In America, you only pay for when you need it. Our socialist society makes us pay. It's not voluntary. We have to pay for that stuff. It makes us pay.
Yeah, it's like Stockholm syndrome. They're like Never before in history have you had people that want to be taxed as much as UK citizens. I like being taxed. You're gonna tax me more. Like, what the
hell? I mean, look, I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, yeah, brilliant. A lot of people get a load of support, and I heard you guys talking about DEI, about positive action earlier as well, and I find that, you know, I do understand. At the moment, I'm actually doing a public services course, and we learn about a lot of equality, inclusion, and diversity. So we do cover DEI as well as positive action, and also, I don't know if you knew this, a few years ago, actually, it got changed from positive discrimination to positive action because discrimination sounded negative, even though that's literally what it is.
I get what you're saying, and I actually had a debate on here once with someone about positive discrimination, and I was arguing that positive discrimination is the same thing as discrimination, and she was saying, no, positive discrimination isn't discrimination, it's the opposite of discrimination, and I'm like, no, that's why it's called positive discrimination. Like, it doesn't matter if you're discriminating in favor of somebody, it's still the same thing, and you can't. It's not necessarily that there aren't instances where you should discriminate in favor of someone. It's that it's an inherent hypocrisy to act as though, in some instances, discriminating against someone is literally an imprisonable offence, and in some instances, it's the best thing in the world, depending on who. That violates the principle of equality under the law, doesn't it?
Exactly, and I mean, as well as people saying like gun violence and pew pew violence, that's my bad, like pew pew violence and whatnot. I mean, they do realize that America, another name for America is literally land of the free. It gives you freedom, it gives you that opportunity, it gives you that state of mind, as well as that. Yes, I mean, at the moment, it is a bit out of hand, but I mean, America as well, with the way, I don't know exactly what it's called over in America. I'm quite into the politics as well as the UK, but I call them bills as well. They pass their bills and laws so much quicker than the UK and so much more efficiently, and they get things done over there if it needs to be done.
It depends on the law. There can be laws that have significant pushback, contention, and things like that. So I won't necessarily say that as a blanket statement, but definitely I believe that the public sector works far better in the USA in general. Obviously you get a lot of like blue states, inner city, where the public sector is kind of poor, but overall speaking, there's less like court backlogs, there's less dependence on the public sector. So I think the public sector, from my experience of it at least, runs more efficiently in the United States.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I've had previous family members in the public sector, which is the police, and I mean, you know what? I don't know if this is like, if I'm overstepping my boundaries here, but you as a black male, that you can also say that yourself, and you can also like agree that DEI and positive action or positive discrimination is wrong, and it does give people an opportunity over other people.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, it's the reality is that, first of all, there's no better place to be black than America, period. And second of all, the reason why America is such a good place to be is because of meritocracy. And regardless of what outcomes a person is looking for, it fundamentally is goes against the principles of United States and the things that made it successful in the past to start granting people handouts simply because they're not getting the outcomes that they want, that causes stagnation in society. Even if you think it's morally right, it's not long-term good for the society, and it causes people to become more dependent on the state, and that's what you're seeing. That's why you're starting to see movements of people more and more, since post Cold War, and even starting really in the 60s in America, you're starting to see more and more people demanding things from the government. I mean, I was watching a video actually of that guy Jesse Lee Peterson today. It was from like the 90s, and he was saying like that he never imagined that women would be saying that they want they want to have, not only do they want to have sex with random people. He was like, back in his day that was unheard of. He's like, not only do they want that, he's saying that they want everybody else to pay for their birth control. And now obviously we've grown up in a society where that's normal. If you say, free birth control for women, people say, oh yeah, okay, it's a normal concept. But think about how far we've come in order for people to actually believe, not only should I be able to sleep around, you should pay for it. And then you should pay if I want to unalive my child as well.
I mean, to be honest, my views on like birth control and abortion and stuff like that, I don't personally agree with that at all. I don't think it should be a thing, personally, as a Christian myself. Are you religious by any chance at all?
I'm not religious, but I'm also against abortion.
Thank you, and I hope you do realize that. I mean, the thing is, in America as well. Sorry, I'm going into a completely different thing. I mean, state senates as well. Individually deciding for states and stuff like that. I think that's a lot more of a better system than we have in the UK than just one political party just running the whole entire country.
I do agree with that, but on the issue of abortion, I think it's pretty clear that abortion is murder. I don't think that it should have the same criminal penalty as murdering someone outside the womb because of the element of duress that the woman is under, because the child is using their body, but it's still a murder, and I still think that the person should be put before the court, and they should probably receive some kind of sentence of mental health support or probation or something. They should have to go through some kind of penalty.
Exactly, because I mean. And people, and by the way, whoever said abortion is murder in the chat, by the way, I am kind of ruining your rep here because this isn't a debate. I did just want to come on here and
it's
say
cool. I'll drop you down in like 10 seconds, but finish what you're saying.
But how is abortion murder? Just answer that question. It is the unaliving of a human being that is still a human being. They are human. They are developing. You could say the exact same thing about maybe, let's say, a 5-year-old. Although they're out of the womb, they're still developing, they're still growing. That's exactly what happens inside of the womb. It happens both ways.
I don't think people actually understand that there is no law that actually makes abortion legal. It's just not prosecuted as murder, but it is by definition murder. There's no law that says abortion is legal. Yes. So it is by definition a murder that is simply not prosecuted by the state. That's it. Just because of interpretation of case law.
I will actually watch you on YouTube. I'd literally just one last question.
Sure.
Where, if you don't mind answering, where on the political scale do you lean? Do you lean like far left, far right, left?
I don't really believe in the political spectrum too much. Like I view myself more as just a free thinker. I do think capitalism is generally good if you want to have a society, but I also think that in some instances, not even having an organized society could be a better way to live, depending on the person. I just believe in freedom of choice, self-governance, and if you do want to have a society, then capitalism makes the most sense for that society. There are instances, though, where the state does need to step in and balance outcomes for people, but I think those instances are rare. And I think that's really what I would say. I deal with things issue by issue. There's some issues where I would say I can kind of sympathize with the political left. They're few and far between these days. But things like freedom of expression, people being able to dress how they want, people being not having to enforce certain etiquettes or standards. I think those kind of are typically left-wing positions. that I sympathise with. But other than that, I mean, nowadays people that are on the political right typically hold those views anyway. So most people would accuse me of being on the political right. I don't see myself as being on the political right, but hey.
Yeah. Can I literally just say one thing to your viewers, if you don't mind, and I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm off. By the way, people, don't surround yourself with people who have the same views as you. That's a radical group right there. Surround yourself with people who oppose your opinions, so you can learn, you can be knowledgeable. Because I've had many friends who I've had to drop because they surround themselves with many radical people who have the same opinions as them and don't explore different options or different knowledge.
Okay, I can respect that. Thank you so much, Tripane. Appreciate you, and keep watching on YouTube. And we're gonna take this thing massive, man. We're gonna have the biggest YouTube in the world. It's gonna be amazing. All right, take care, bro. Bye bye. Yeah, man, my YouTube's gonna be popping, guys. You can check us out at State of Deception. We're live right now. We've got 57 viewers on TikTok, and let's see who's watching on YouTube. I didn't even address the YouTube. Oh, we got Prometheus watching on YouTube. How many YouTube viewers do we have? Let's check, guys. So please, guys, check us out on YouTube, because that's the best place to watch, really, I think. Someone said, I used to be right-wing and watch Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, etc., and then I grew up. Okay. Good for you. What's up, Benedict?
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I was just wondering, how much time have you spent in the US?
How much time did I spend just now, or in general?
Like, I don't know. Do you live in the US, or do you live in the UK?
I've been back and forth to the USA over the past 3 years, probably like 6-7 times.
So I think I've only been watching for like the last 5 minutes, so I've not seen your sort of other arguments. But I'd like to sort of pose to you what I really hated about the US.
Okay.
With a few exceptions, is you can't walk anywhere. It's like and the sense of like, you don't have high streets, you don't have community in the same way. You've got to get an Uber, you've got to drive everywhere. I hate that about the US.
You don't like driving?
No, I like to drive, but like where I live in the UK, where I live in Manchester, like I can walk to my local pub. I don't have to drive on the highway. I don't have to get taxis everywhere.
But if you lived in a really rural part of like Wales, you'd probably need to drive everywhere as well.
Right, but that would be my choice, to live in a rural area.
You don't
Whereas
have to live in a
US,
rural
you've got
area in the US.
maybe like New York, and you've got Boston. You've got a couple of the really old settlements that have got that European style of city.
Yeah.
Whereas in the US, 95% is the suburbs, and then you're on big highways. So like even like let me give you an example. When I was in Miami, I'm at a bar in Miami, and I want to go to the next bar, which is like across the road, and I can't walk there without being arrested. Because if I get seen by policemen walking there, they'll be like, "Why are you walking?" It's so set apart from the culture, this idea that you can walk somewhere, and I just hate that.
Yeah, it's a more like modern society built around cars, so you get in your individual like personal transportation vehicle and you zoom around everywhere. I can see.
Do you think that's sort of the way that they've like designed their sort of way of life really sort of prevents building real communities, and that's why in the US you have, even worse than the UK, you have no sense of social cohesion. People don't like connect across like political spectrum in the US, even worse than the UK.
Do you really think that there isn't social cohesion in the United States?
Oh, absolutely not. It's
from my experience,
because,
Americans are far more involved. They have far more robust social lives than British citizens.
Well, I mean, having a social life and having social cohesion is two different things. So, like, I could have, it's like, do I know my neighbor? Do I speak to, is there like a community space where I can go? And sure, you have like sort of evangelical churches, but again, they're people sort of collecting who've got like one view. You wouldn't find a place like, let's say I go to my local pub. I can meet any loads of different like persuasions, or I see the same people over and over again. that you don't really have that sense of like community spaces which are, you know, with broad political opinions, not just like people coming together because it's like, oh yeah, I'm this kind of Christian or I'm that kind of Christian, so we're going to go to the same church together.
I find it interesting that you say this, because everyone in the UK pretty much has the same opinions about everything. Like, you see them on the live, they all have really similar opinions. There's not even
Well,
like
I don't know
have
if
you
you're
heard of the
getting a
idea
sort
of the
of-
uni party? That's what we kind of have in the UK. The Conservatives and Labour, they both think the same thing. The average UK citizen, they all kind of think. If you did a poll in the UK, should we privatise the NHS? 99% no. If you did a poll, should we criminalise abortion? 99% no. If you did a poll, should we have gun rights? 99% no. If you did, like, almost every issue, everybody in the UK just thinks the same.
Well, I think that's to do with an enlightened society, and that's.
You think that's enlightenment?
You've kind of proven my point that there's a reason why they have that opinion, because that's, you know, they're the rights that we have. They're the rights that we've been afforded in the UK.
How are those rights?
Now, if you go to the US, and they've never, you know, they can't imagine a country where there's no like mass shootings. So therefore, they just think, well, clearly, like, regulating guns can't be the answer to that. They've never experienced that. They can't even imagine what that is.
You think you think people can't imagine living in a society without mass shootings, but the vast majority of Americans live in a society without mass shootings. What are you talking about?
But there's mass shootings in every single state.
There's mass shootings, but they're extremely rare.
Well, I don't know how rare it is, but you still have, like, active shooter drills in every school. I don't think that's, you know, if we had in the UK had to do a drill once a month for earthquake preparedness, because there's an earthquake in every county every year, would you say that it's extremely rare to have an earthquake?
No, I would say that the rate at which something is done routinely to mitigate harm if something bad happens has nothing to do with the rate at which it happens. And, like, your example is weird because they have fire drills in school, but fires are rare as well. So are you saying that simply having fire drills in school means that fires are really high risk for UK
the point
citizens?
is the risk is high enough to warrant the drill. So someone has basically sat down and looked at statistics and have worked out.
They don't
if you
do it based on
drill,
statistics. They do it
you're
based
gonna
on.
you're gonna have less.
They don't do it based on statistics.
You're gonna
they do it based on hysteria.
less people dying as a consequence.
No, they do.
So
They don't
if
do it
it's
based
a
on statistics. They do it. They do it to try to
number, then
mitigate the fears
then it's
of
relevant, isn't
hysterical
it, surely?
people. They do it to try to mitigate the fears of hysterical people, not because it's actually a common occurrence.
Oh, I completely disagree. Fire drills are really important. Just
What do you think?
it's,
What do you
it's
think?
about
Let me ask you a
working
question.
out how quickly can you get people out of a building,
Let
and
me-
then
let me
if
ask
you
you a
can't get
question.
people out quickly, how can you improve the strategy?
What-
and that's
what-
the same
what-
with active shooter drills.
What do you think the likelihood of being shot is in America?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably similar to being run over.
But just give me, like, a percentage that you think roughly, if you had to estimate the likelihood of an American being shot.
Well, okay, let's say, okay, if we assume that 10,000 Americans get shot per year. Let's say 10,000 people get shot in a year. I don't know if that's more or less. Then it's probably
Probably more.
0.1%, a little less.
Yeah, it's like 0.05%, something like that. Between 0.05 and maybe 0.1%. Yeah. You think that's high?
But if you compare the number to how many people were shot in the UK, it's going to be like 10,000% more. So that's the important number.
It'll be probably like 6 to 7 times more.
I don't know. I don't have the statistics. I can look it up
Maybe
if you like.
more. Maybe like it could even be like 80 times more. But do you not think that that's pretty low, having a 0.05% likelihood of being shot? You don't think that's pretty low?
Well, I would say that it's like you would say so if I said to you that only 10,000 people die of a certain cancer, does that mean you shouldn't try and cure that cancer? Because it's a really low percentage.
You should try and cure it, but it depends how you're trying to cure it. I mean, there are 500 million guns in America, and you think that the problem is being caused by guns, even though only sort of like let's just say 0.1% of people are getting shot. So how can you think that the problem is being caused by guns when there's 500 million, but such a small percentage of those people are getting shot?
I don't mind debating this with you, by the way, but when it comes to guns, that surely you agree that it's better to be in a country where you don't get shot if you go to school.
But you don't get shot when you go to school. That's an extremely rare thing.
No, but this is what I just said. Like, it's many times more likely to get shot in the US than you are in the UK. So surely it's better to be in the position where you're less likely to be shot.
If that was the only thing you were concerned about, then yes. But why are you concerned about something that's so extremely rare when you think about if you were to think about going to the USA? I mean, you said you went to Miami. Were you concerned about getting shot when you went to Miami?
Do you know what? I wasn't concerned about being shot.
Oh,
but I
you're
didn't spend a lot
assuming
of time
people should
in like a situation where that's. I mean, I was working for a big corporation, working for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines.
So why do you think that Americans would be concerned about getting shot?
I think that it's something it's definitely a consideration.
I mean, if you're in a gang, then yeah.
You know, like, so let's say if I was living in like a rough part of London and I was sending my kids to the school, I'd be concerned maybe they're going to get stabbed, and I think that concern is something which most Americans have in most parts of America.
No,
even if it's statistically, irrelevant. Like statistically, it's really unlikely to happen to you. It's still a consideration, and rightly so.
So, but why would people who live in a decent suburban neighborhood with virtually no crime be concerned that their kid's going to get shot?
Because when it comes to something like a gun, because it's freely available, it isn't sort of intrinsically linked to crime. Anyone can buy it. Most people would be able to access a gun if they've got, let's say you're like a disillusioned kid and your parents have a gun locker and they forgot to lock it. You can now access it.
Do you know what's so funny?
And I think that you've got to think about especially young kids growing up who have poor mental health. In the UK, the outcome might be that they go into school and they punch someone in the head. They go up to the person who's like their bully and they punch them, let's say. Whereas the outcome could be very different when that person has access to a gun.
Do you know what's so funny is that you said something about how people in America don't liaise with people who have different ideas, and so they're trapped kind of dealing with the same ideas. But everything you've just said, I've had this conversation probably. I mean, Prometheus, how many times have I had this exact conversation? It must be over 100 times now, where you guys just say the exact same things. It's like I can predict what you're going to say. Like, why are you so focused on an event that's so rare? Why are you not thinking about all the other stuff that happens in America? Do you think America,
let's talk about something else.
America
I think objectively we can agree that it's better to be in a country where you where you definitely won't get shot on your way to school. Can we agree that?
No, I don't agree with that.
So, I don't understand what you. You could say, let's change the subject. I want to talk about something else.
I'm not saying let's change the subject. I'm not saying let's change the subject.
It's better to be in a country where you might get shot.
If the only metric you're measuring is likelihood of getting shot, then yes. But there are so many other metrics to measure.
All right, well, give me another metric.
Like the rights and freedoms that you have, the likelihood of you being able to pass on wealth to the next generation, the likelihood of you having access to world-class medical care, the likelihood of you being able to prosper and get a good job or start a business and be able to have economic freedom, the likelihood of you being able to go to other major cities and live in... Okay, sure.
So I briefly heard what you were saying about, people pay on average of £7,000 of tax to get NHS treatment
It's
in
less.
the UK.
It's like £4,400 per person per
Okay,
year.
well, I mean, okay, so it's less. Okay,
Per person.
so
yeah.
if I'm paying that much, I will get access to good medical care, especially if I'm very ill. Correct?
I would say so. Yeah.
So if I want to have excellent medical care in the UK, what do I do?
Well, you can go private, I suppose.
Yeah, so I can get insurance on top of that. So the possibility for me to have the best medical care in the world is open to me if I'm earning a lot of money. So if I'm earning, let's say I'm earning £200,000 or £300,000 a year, I'm going to contribute a lot of taxes towards the NHS, but I also have the option to get excellent medical care.
If you're earning how much?
Well, let's say I was earning, I don't earn this much, but let's say I was earning £300,000.
Yeah.
I could say, well, I'm going to set aside £80 a month to get private medical care.
Yeah, but if you were earning that much, you would be paying literally like 4 times the average American, what the average American pays for healthcare, and your healthcare would still be worse than the healthcare you'd have access to in
Well,
America.
it wouldn't be if I get private.
It would still be worse than the act. So say for example, if you had 300k a year in America or 300k a year in the UK, you would be paying like quadruple the amount that the American would pay, and you would still be getting worse healthcare than you would get access to at that income level in America.
Okay, so we can agree that if I'm earning a lot of money in the UK, I'd be better off without the NHS. It would be better off with an insurance-based system like in the US.
You'd be better off moving to America.
Yeah, or it'd be better if we didn't have an NHS, so I didn't have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And it was just insurance.
Yeah.
So, can you think of someone who's not rich? So let's say I'm not earning that. Let's say I'm earning less than £50,000 a year. Is there any single person who would benefit?
At the £50,000 a year level, it's even debatable whether you would be paying less than a US citizen, because all taxes in the UK go towards healthcare. Approximately 20% of all taxes go towards healthcare. So at 50k a year, I think you pay what, like 8 grand in taxes or something like that, 10 grand in taxes, something like that. And of that, some of it's, in fact, I think you pay more than that, don't you? Probably like 14k in taxes, something like that. So of that, a percentage of that is going towards.
You've got lots of different sources of tax that goes towards. So you've got you've got value-added tax. You've got national insurance contributions,
income tax,
even
sugar tax, fuel tax, all of it goes towards
your NHS.
Yes, yeah. So you can look at it from a raw amount that you're paying standpoint, or you could look at it as well from the percentage of your salary that's going towards healthcare. So if you're earning 50k a year, and sort of like 10 to 12% of your salary is going towards the NHS overall, and really it is actually more than that if you factor in value-added tax and stuff like that. But let's say 10 to 12% is going towards healthcare, then if you were an American citizen and 10 to 12% of your salary was going towards healthcare, you're paying effectively the same percentage of your salary towards healthcare at about the 50k income level.
But do you know how often people are quote underinsured, or they're paying premiums which exceed their salary in the US?
Well, people wouldn't really be paying premiums that exceed their salary. Being underinsured is a phenomenon that they've attempted to do studies on. It's very difficult to characterize who is underinsured, because you could have an insurance premium and you could be underinsured for certain things and not underinsured for other things. So it's hard to really get proper metrics on who is underinsured, but we know people with no insurance constitute approximately 8% of the population. So 92% of the population has some form of private health insurance. Some form of health insurance. Obviously Medicaid is health insurance. Then you've got Obamacare, so you can get subsidized private insurance as well. But yeah, that's available. Well, 92% of people opt into that, and of the 8% that don't opt into that, some of them fall within the bracket of earning too much to get Medicaid and earning not enough to afford a private health insurance plan, and some of them just choose not to have insurance because they just can't be asked. They think they're healthy. They don't want to take the extra bill. And I think, I don't really think anybody is struggling too much, if at all, from not being able to actually get medical care if they need it in America.
Well, you can get. Well, let me tell you a story. You can get the care, but the question is, can you pay for it? So
yeah, you can.
I was actually I did a tour where I went across America. I did about 10 different states in a sleeper bus as part of a theatre tour, which I did. And I had travel insurance. But basically, the bus that I was in a really extreme crash while I was in my bed. And basically, I got like a really extreme sprain on my ankle. So an ambulance came, picked me up, and they gave me an X-ray. They gave me some paracetamol. And they took my bloods, and then they said, yeah, you sprained your ankle, you can go home. And I got the bill, which I would have had to pay if I was someone who was a US citizen without insurance. You want to guess how much? So this is like 4 hours hospital stay and an ambulance ride. You want to guess how much they billed me?
10 grand.
48K.
But they didn't bill you that because you didn't pay it.
No, but if I didn't have my travel insurance, that's what I would have been charged.
Yeah, but you didn't actually pay it. I've heard multiple people tell me these stories, and nobody ever actually pays it. So you didn't pay that bill. So what's the problem?
Well, no, because I had insurance.
Exactly, and Americans have insurance as well.
But my point is, I'm perfectly healthy. There was nothing wrong with me up until that crash. But I was extremely unlucky. And if I'd been someone who hadn't invested in travel insurance, or if I was a US citizen who can't afford to get insurance, then I basically would have been in debt.
And if my uncle had a fanny, he'd be my aunt.
Say again?
If my uncle had a fanny, he'd be my aunt.
Well, that's not very intelligent, is it?
No, but I don't understand the point you're making. You're saying if you didn't have insurance and you got a bill, then you would have had to pay it, but you didn't.
It doesn't take a lot of imagination to visualize how it might affect someone else. Come on.
Someone who doesn't have insurance and
Who's
then
in
gets
the car
into
crash,
the situation
exactly.
would not be in the same position as somebody who's come to the country on travel insurance, because they would have, as a US citizen, they would have other means to mitigate paying that bill. For example, most hospitals offer, for people that are suffering financial hardship, they can actually have the bill forgiven all the way up to 100%. Then you can even apply to your state government to have bill forgiveness, and that's assuming
people kill themselves so they don't have to pay the bill. That's happened in the US.
Really?
That's happened in the US. People kill
Really?
themselves.
Are you sure about
Yeah.
that? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next. Anything else? Any other reason why you think the US is better than the UK?
Yeah, it's got a better landscape. It's got a massive diversity of landscape.
I can agree about the landscape.
Burgeoning tech
I like the
sector,
fact
medical
that there's lots of
sector,
different
massive
climates.
amounts of opportunity. You can actually own land. You can own it warranty deed. Guns, gun culture. You have the right to self-defense. It's easier to get rental properties. It's just everything's easier. It's easier to be a homeowner. The laws are just better. The public sector works better. The healthcare system works better. Everything works better. And yeah, also there's no digital ID, and you don't get arrested for cussing out a police officer. You don't get arrested for saying hurty words to a black person online. You don't get arrested for
I don't know
calling a
what
transgender
kind of
person.
police.
Sir.
I love those police videos in the US where they're like, they stop someone, they're like, man, you violated my amendment. But you know what? The police are actually way worse in the US when it comes to that. They're violating the rights of the citizens.
Do you know what's funny though?
Level.
Do you know what's funny though? You see how you said they're violating the rights of the citizens? Yeah. So when the police do that, they're acting illegally. When the police do it in the UK, they're acting legally. That's the difference.
Yeah, well,
So this is in the UK. It's state-sanctioned tyranny. They literally are saying we're allowed to violate your God-given rights. In the USA,
okay, well,
when they do it, they are being corrupt.
Give me an example of someone's being some state-sanctioned violence against people.
When
well,
you
actually, no. To be fair, I could give one example. People, the Palestine Action protesters. That's definitely an overreach of the police. But I can't think of anything else.
17-year-old just got arrested. I just playing the video. A 17-year-old in the UK just got arrested for saying that economic migrants should be deported in the UK. He got arrested for incitement of racial hatred. Do you think that's okay?
Well, I don't. I've not seen the details of that, so I don't know. I can't comment on it.
Well, there's an example for you. Many people get arrested for speech offences in the UK. That is state-sanctioned violence because an arrest is inherently violent, and the suggestion is, unless it's, I suppose it's not inherently violent. I'll take that back, but it's still an act of coercion and force, and it's obviously not warranted.
Under what law? Do you know under what law they were?
Yeah,
they were arrested.
The Public Order Act.
So what? So no, but what do they actually say?
They said that. They said
what they said.
They said that economic.
What constitutes that it's a violation of that act?
Because they said that economic migrants should be deported, and that under the incitement of racial hatred laws under the Public Order Act, if you make a statement that is likely to cause. Likely to incite racial hatred against a racial group, and people's immigration status is tantamount to a racial group under that law, then you can be arrested. So saying a statement that is likely to incite hatred against people who are migrants is an arrestable offence in the UK.
So what do you think of the people who have the signs that say "I support Palestine Action" who were arrested?
I don't think they should have been arrested.
Well, fair enough. I agree with that.
So yeah, as I was saying, there's a myriad reasons why the USA is better than the UK, and the reasons you gave, I don't even really know what many of your points were. Like, you didn't really have a strong argument for any point, I'd say.
Oh, well, I mean, I think my highlight was that you think it's better that children might get shot when they go to school. That was my highlight of your points.
I didn't say that. You just tried to straw.
No, you said it would be better to live in a place where people can get shot on the way to school.
Why are you being so stupid?
It was just a crazy point.
Why are you being so stupid?
Oh, peace out, man. I've had enough. Have a good day. All right.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is the thing: is we can have debates and people like to come on a debate, but at the point where you have to start talking shit and just saying stuff that's just completely made up, don't you think that kind of makes you seem a bit of a batty? Like, you said it would be better to be shot by this. If you're a child, you get shot and you be shot when you go to school. It's like, yeah. If the only metric that you had to measure was the likelihood of you being shot go to school, then yes, live in the UK. But that's obviously not the only metric that you have to measure. You see what I mean? Do I support Trump? He's okay. Brits have an unrealistic way of thinking when it comes to shooting. It's true. Anybody who tries to take your weapon is crowning themselves your predator. I agree with that, actually. I like that word, predator. You called it early when you said hysteria. It's a neuroticism and a hysteria. What's up, Mary Louise? Oh, we got two people on at the same time. Chill Betty was delayed. Right, let's get Mary Louise speaking first. What's up, Mary?
No, I'm great. How are you? Nice to see your face again.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Ah, you're all right. I think we're all predators in a certain way.
Go on.
That Betty, she's here. Yeah. Now, anybody who tries to take your weapon is crowning themselves your predator. What an amazing part of lyrics or words, even. I even want to put that into one of my songs.
Break it down for us. Like tell
lyrical
us,
genius.
Break it down for the people who might not understand what that means.
Do you know what? I want to let Chili explain it because she's
Sure.
the one. And these are her words, and I kind of feel like I don't want to take that throne. You know.
You don't want to
This
usurp
is
the
the queen,
aura
so.
that comes from that statement.
Hi, Hi, Chili.
Hello.
Hi, Chili.
I'm a very well-armed American at that.
Wow, I'll tell you what, I love your words. They're amazing, dude.
Yep, I actually have
well-armed
a little
American
meme of
just
that
sounds
that
so
I'm.
fire. Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am. I love my arms. I so love my guns. They feed me, and they defend me.
Chili, what are you gonna do if
And here's the reality.
What are you gonna do if a big strong man tries to threaten you and tells you that there's no such thing as equality?
She'd knock him out.
I carry a 10mm.
Trace!
Oh!
Got the big ting.
No, we don't have pew-pews here. We don't have pew-pews. We're not allowed.
That's to me, that's very sad. Now, when we talk about pew-pew shootings at schools, I want you to understand that we have more arms than we do citizens.
Mm-hmm.
The citizens alone, that's not including the military, the citizens alone have more registered firearms. Now, that's the registered ones, okay? Now, an unregistered firearm doesn't make it illegal. There was, there are a lot of firearms that are passed down and that are sold. I can sell a firearm to my neighbor if I want. And when you, so a lot of arms are not registered. It's only when you go to the store to buy them, and they're not really registered, but they do keep a registry. Don't let anybody tell you they don't. They make you pass a federal background check. And every single person, that is across the United States, that's every state. If you go into a licensed dealership, you have to pass a federal background check. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes, sometimes it takes 3 days. And what you do with that arm after that is up to you and your states. Like my state, we have very liberal laws on arms. You can carry concealed. It doesn't matter what size it is. It doesn't matter how your magazine capacity is not limited. But today, an interesting note, again, we have more arms that are registered through that federal firearm than we do people. So firearms are obviously not the weapon or the problem.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
if they were, and if firearm owners were actually the problem, there wouldn't be anybody left. But today we did have a second explosive threat. I don't know if I can say the B word, but we had a second explosive threat at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. You want to know why they did it? They threatened it with an explosive.
Why is that?
Because they know everybody's armed. Everybody's armed.
Right. Someone just said in your comments, Southern hot mess. If you're a felon, you cannot purchase a gun. That's not true. That's the only thing that worries me, Chili, is like, okay, we it's not accessible for us to go into a shop, with a gun license and to buy a pew-pew, whatever. And we can't do that here. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of feel safer knowing with that knowledge that we can't. But then for you guys in the US, it's such a common thing, you wouldn't want to go without one because you need to protect yourself.
I don't believe it's possible. I don't believe it's
don't
possible to feel safe in the UK. You cannot even compare
in the UK?
No, it's not possible because you can't compare the feeling of knowing that you can defend your life with the feeling of being dependent on someone else. It is a fundamentally different feeling. Having a gun on you is, even if you know, oh no, there's no crime around you, no one's gonna harm you. Knowing that if anything happens, you can defend your life is a totally different level of confidence.
All right.
There's also there's a saying, it's called an armed society is a polite society, and that is very true. Like I said, my state, because each state can dictate their own laws on it.
Can't we just roll with a golf club?
No.
Or a baseball bat?
Do you know how hard that would be to carry around?
No, just have it at your door. Just have it at your door.
No, I'm not having it at my door. I go to the grocery store, I have it on. I go everywhere. It's like a seatbelt. You know, when you're driving in a car, you automatically put your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
I feel like something's missing if it's not there.
I'll be honest with you. I think, like, generally for the UK, I mean, I don't know how Amma feels, but it's definitely not a safe space now.
Okay, do you have any rings on your fingers?
Am I married?
Yes, do you have any rings on your fingers? I don't care if you're married.
No, I'm not married.
Do you have any rings on your fingers?
No.
No jewelry on your fingers?
No.
Have you ever consistently worn jewelry on your fingers?
No.
Okay. Do you wear socks?
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine how weird it would feel to forget to put on your socks, like you're rushing out to work one day and you forget to put on socks and you just put your shoes on.
What the fuck?
She said, I don't do a shit without my gun on me.
Laugh my ass off. So you're basically saying, right, I need to move to America because I wanna have that feeling.
If you don't have a ring on your finger, I'm sure some old man, southern man with a big belly, he'll snap you up. You know, he won't have a nice British wife for him. Yeah, that'd be nice, won't it?
I was engaged, and it just didn't work out. I decided that no, he wasn't the one for me, but that's okay. And we're still friends. But I just didn't want to marry him because when you marry someone, it's got to be because you want to do it. But I went and bought a load of fucking pairs of socks. I'll tell you that now.
What, you're not going to marry for green card?
No, I've never married.
What?
I'm 50 years.
You don't have to love so you can marry for
I'm 46.
you can marry for the green card? Green card? I want to marry for green card?
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
So many people like that. Do you know what? Since I've been on TikTok,
Cara está verde.
I've had loads of people going, I want to be your sugar daddy. And I'm like, what? I don't understand it. And I just ignore it.
There ain't no sugar left in the UK. Everybody broke. What are they going to give you? Sugar daddy with no sugar. Sugar daddy paying the sugar tax.
Throw me some brown sugar.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I heard.
Oh, shit. She went to, oh, shit.
Thought that would make you laugh. Gotta have a laugh.
She went to brown sugar.
Big up.
Brown sugar is crazy.
Oh no, but do you know what? Really nice in stews, actually. If you make that like an Irish beef stew, brown sugar, put it in. The sugar.
Jesus. You want the brown sugar in the Irish? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It just sweetens it, but not too sweet, like white sugar.
Caramel.
Like caramel.
Yeah.
I like sugar, but
Yeah, the caramel sugar.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You need to get the brown sugar.
Yeah,
And
caramel sugar, that's the
it
best
does
type.
something different to like a beef stew with carrots, celery, onions, all
Can you
that
make
shit.
this, yeah?
Yeah,
now,
man.
if you
Where's my invite?
vinegar and
Where's my invite?
molasses,
Are you going to
that
make
is.
this for me, yeah?
Yeah, molasses.
Come on, man.
Chili. Yeah. I can't invite you, but I'll share an image of it at some point. Sugar, do 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 do. Oh, honey, honey.
Ba, 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 ba,
do,
ba,
do.
ba.
You are my candy boy. You got me wanting you.
Jeez.
So I heard you make a comment that I wanted to correct.
Go on.
You, not you, the guy.
Okay.
Amma, is that how you say your name?
Yeah,
Say your
yeah.
name, Amma.
Yeah.
Okay. So you made the comment, and it was in reference to abortion, which I'm not interested in getting into, but you made the comment, there is no law that says you can. Here in the United States, if there is no law, that means you can. You don't have to have things legalized. It's the 9th Amendment to our Constitution.
No, I understand that.
We
The
don't
the
have
reason
to have things
no,
legalized.
let me clarify. The reason I was saying that is because there is a law that criminalizes abortion, which is common law murder, but it's not enforced. That's what I was saying. So I was saying that there's no law that contradicts the common law murder, which means that the unlawful taking of a human life is a indictable offence. I was saying there's no explicit law that states we are overriding this common law murder statute to suggest that it is now legal for you to be able to unalive a child. What they do is they interpret the law such that you just don't get prosecuted for it. But technically speaking, according to law, it is still a murder. That's the point I was making. And I think that applies in the USA as well.
Okay. I thought you were thinking that everything had to be legalized. Because I know the UK and the EU are doing a lot of changes right now.
No, you didn't mean that. So,
No.
Yeah, because we don't.
At least it's clarified.
In our structure of our government, and I want you to remember this for your governments too, okay? No government ever created a man. No government ever created a soul. Man created...
Or woman.
Or woman. Man or woman created government. Therefore, you are always higher than your government. And we had the common sense in the United States to literally write that the fuck down in our Constitution. Our power goes creator or God, whatever you want to call your creator. If you want to call your creator your mom, that's fine. Our power goes creator, man, government. And that's why we still have arms today, because there's a lot of people who would love to take them. A lot of our predators would love to take them.
Predator.
Do you really believe in your constitution in terms of like your government? Like, do you have faith in your government?
Well, no. Do you have faith in your neighbor? I mean, because that's what.
No, I don't.
You're asking me to have faith in my neighbor.
The Constitution is not about having to have
I
faith
can
in the
go-
government. The Constitution is about not needing to have faith in the government. A Constitution is a document that is
Our
irrespective of whatever the government
on our
is.
government.
That's the point
Our
of it.
Constitution is quite literally holding government back.
Yeah, and how is that working out for you? Because I tell you what, it's fucking shit here in the UK.
You know what? We've had a really bad problem now I'm older, a little bit older, and I've watched it go downhill. We've had a very bad problem of where we got very complacent with our children.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be the millennial and the Z generation. And when I say we got complacent with them, I don't mean that we just hugged them too much. We didn't teach them civics. We didn't teach them the importance of making sure that government, and I think it was fucking Chuck Schumer, that piece of shit.
Yeah.
He was someone who said the idea that people don't get their rights from their government. Who the fuck does he think he is? That piece of... He gets his power from the people. The people are always on the top run of the ladder. Government is at the bottom of the ladder.
If I had to name one fatal flaw of the United Kingdom, if we look at the past like 100 years and I had to name the fatal flaw, the nail in the coffin, I would say that the fatal flaw of the UK is not having a written formal constitution. And I think that's the only thing. That's the starting point. That's the starting point to actually turning anything around, is that there needs to be a Bill of Rights and a new constitution in the UK. Without that, finished.
Somebody just said in the comments, the UK has fallen 100%. I agree.
Well, I've seen that the UK can't even access the Bible online.
Wait, no, you can access
no,
the
you
Bible,
can.
bro.
You can.
Yeah, we can
You
access
can.
the Bible.
Okay, well, even Bible Gateway was saying they're not allowed in the UK.
No, well, I mean, would you actually believe anything that comes out of that man's mouth? Like,
Nah, we
he was
can't
falling
access
up-
the Bible, but we can access the Bible. But if we want to go on like P-Hub, then we got to do facial verification. I've done it a couple times
Yeah.
in the past few days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You have to do
100%.
what? I'm sorry, did you say you had to do ID verification?
Yeah, to have to goon as the young
Chocolate. Do you
to-
know what I'm going to say? There's a
That-
guy on your comments, Corey Richardson. He said, ha ha, you get arrested for a Facebook post in the UK. Chile, I want to share something with you quickly. Did you hear that a man from the UK was jailed, so incarcerated for 2 years for posting a freedom of speech on his social media?
Crazy.
That's sad.
That's fucked up.
Okay, so here's where, and if you don't mind a little input on it, I mean, and I can understand if you don't. Just tell me to shut up if you don't like it, because it sometimes makes me mad when foreigners tell me how to run my government.
Well, I'm not doing that.
Okay, so you guys are very small. The UK and the
Hang on a minute. We're not small. Not having that. You don't need to drop that in. Just say our country is a little bit smaller than yours.
It's quite
Right.
significantly
Okay,
smaller,
so
to be fair.
because of that, you have a geographical advantage with numbers.
Explain that.
So when you go in to take over, think of your government as like a 3-year-old child.
To be fair, she's got some claret.
Okay.
Clarity there. Yeah, go on.
Because if you have a 3-year-old and you take them to the park and you go and sit down, the 3-year-old goes and plays on all the toys. Okay? That's normal. They're 3. They're going to go do whatever the hell they're allowed to do. But let's say you take your 3-year-old government to the park, and a constitution would be the ropes around the park, saying the 3-year-old can play in the 3-year-old area. If you don't give your state government boundaries, they're not going to even know they have them. Let's get real. It doesn't matter where the politician.
But that's exactly what the point I was making was about the fatal flaw of the UK is not having a constitution, because there are no boundaries without a constitution, like you're saying. And the reason why is because it's a common law. Everything's based on case law precedent. So they just keep reinterpreting every single law until it favors the government far more than the citizens. Mm-hmm. And there's no frame of reference for them to say, hang on a minute, this is what it was supposed to fucking mean. Let's get back to that. There's no frame of reference. So this is what I'm saying. Without a formal constitution, like a lot of people are against like European Convention on Human Rights and stuff. But the thing that is good about it is at least it sets out simple, basic rights that people are supposed to have. Granted, the UK still fucking interpreted them to be like, you have freedom of speech, but you can't offend anyone. Obviously, we know they're going to do that. But but if they just fucking pass an actual Bill of Rights, an inalienable, I don't know if it's even possible, but we need some kind of inalienable Bill of Rights. And I know it's a fundamentally different system, but without that, we just fucking have nothing. They'll just keep on passing laws that nobody fucking wants.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, the one biggest flaw I see in American government is the time that it takes to correct shit, and that's also our biggest, the greatest part of it is the time that it takes to correct shit. Our government moves really slow.
Can I speak after you, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, no. I wanted to just touch on what host just said. Right, there is that feeling that the freedom of speech is just washed up, it's just ignored, and you're getting penalised for having a freedom of speech, right? And these are the moments where I wish that I was a Miss Moneypenny and had a little gun in my bag, pew pew even, excuse me, sorry, it's your live, and then I could just bring it out and go, fuck you, motherfucker. There's so many people that just literally want to just do us bad, do us wrong. And
okay, don't hurt people, though. That's the thing, okay?
No, I don't want to hurt anybody, but I don't want to be hurt myself.
I want to hurt them.
So
I think we should start hanging these
protective.
people, metaphorically.
Yeah. Metaphorically.
Hanging them by their words, meaning holding them accountable in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Americans can go and walk around, roam around, and they can have a little pew-pew in their bag. Like, we can't in our country. And that's probably why we are different to you, Chile. Like,
well, it's not just for pew-pew. I mean, you have a whole host of things that are different.
What do you mean? Cheese.
Well,
bread.
Yeah.
Nah, culturally,
Good-looking
there's a
black
lot of
men.
differences as well. Like, nah, for real though, there is a lot of cultural differences. The thing is, I don't want to be American. I like being British. I just want the British to go
right.
back to the same principles that America took and ran with. If
Yeah.
Britain would just go back to a proper common law system, then we would have the same kind of rights that Americans have, and then we wouldn't be complaining. Like, it just. But I think one of the reasons no one wants to go back to this system is because they look at America and think, oh, America's bad. We don't want to be like America. But that's the whole point
Yeah,
of
but
their life.
why
We
do you
need
think
to be more
people
like
think
America.
America's bad?
Huh?
Why do you think people think America is bad?
Because they just constantly
If
get
America is so
propaganda
bad, why do
about
people-
shootings and racism. They never actually think, like, what is the actual average American living like? They only focus on the negative aspects of America.
Yeah.
So
now,
that's
I
why
do
they
feel
think,
like they
everything's
are
bad.
being. Yeah. I do feel that there's a lot of negativity towards
There's a
the
lot of-
Americans.
right now, our country is under a lot of attacks.
Yeah.
Our country is under a lot of internal attacks from socialists. And I don't, there's everybody. I mean, I shouldn't say everybody. I don't know how your system works, but I mean, we have taxes that pay for roads and pay for libraries and pay for schools. That doesn't make us a socialist country. It makes us smart enough to take some socialist ideas. But we have a lot of attacks, and we have, how that last guy that was on here took that last little sentence, twisted it out of order. We have currently a lot of liberals that are doing that shit. I mean, they are taking-
Lefties.
Yes, I mean, oh my God, and they are screaming it so loud, and they are telling kids, you don't have to work for this or that, and they compare us to you a lot. They say, hey, look, they all have houses and okay, well, no offense, I've seen what your council houses look like on here online.
You cheeky bitch.
They wouldn't allow that.
Mary
That's
Louise,
not even- they wouldn't
she
allow
likes
that
her
as even to be
council house.
inhabitable.
I'm laughing.
No, mate, I'm telling you, the houses in the UK are pitiful, mate.
Well, it depends if you take them on or not. Our council houses are really bad. I'm going to be honest with you, right? I'm sorry, I'm in your live, and Amma even.
Say my name,
And
baby.
say my name. And I've got this woman that lives in a flat beside my house. I don't live in a flat. I own my own house, motherfucker. And she's so jealous of me. And every day I get tormented, screaming from the window, like she's on something. Like I'm like, I mean, I like drinking a glass of red wine, right? Red wine.
How much you could work?
Pardon?
Didn't you guys limit the amount of work you can do?
What do you mean?
Well, that's that is one of the reasons we get compared to you a lot, is because they compare us to
Americans are compared to the British.
She's talking about
Yes,
she's
the
talking about
left
like the
loves to
leftists will be
compare us
like,
to you.
oh, they have 28 days paid leave, da 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 da. Like that. That's what she's trying to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, but we don't. Okay, so we don't necessarily have the paid leave, but you guys aren't you guys limit? I remember years ago hearing something about you guys only getting a 35-hour work week.
No,
I have 27 acres. Okay,
it's 17 hours a week actually.
holy shit! How the fuck?
No,
Okay,
it can't
here's
be.
the deal. I live that way, so I don't have any money.
17.
I literally don't have. I have $200 in the bank. So I mean that's it. I have $200 in the bank, but I worked.
I've got
jobs.
$100 in the bank,
100
and I'm
hours.
happy.
I worked over 100 hours a week for quite a few years to pay off, own outright my 27-acre farm.
Cool.
Okay. Here's the thing, and people don't understand. Sometimes if you give up a few, a creature comes, and this is what our young people are not getting. They're expecting it. They're seeing other countries hand them places to live. And they're being told by socialists that that's what we should be doing here. We should just be giving them a place
We
to
should be
live.
following suit, yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
No, I
Because
know.
You're going to appreciate it,
I'm
and you're not
fucking
going to
not.
do that unless you work for it.
Yeah, that's what we need to
Thing
get
is,
back to
right?
here. Asher
Oh,
said.
sorry.
Asher said, "Why are you obsessed with socialists?" Asher's one of those like, oh my gosh, I'm tired of lefties. No more lefties. Ban them. Ban them.
I'm not a lefty.
No, I know, but I'm saying that they should be banned. I feel like that's the problem with the UK. Really, too many lefties.
No,
Yeah,
never ban them. Okay.
Brandon says, "I'm wondering
think
if I should do a
everyone on this
PhD so I can get
panel
into
is
the
not a
US."
lefty. We're all right wing.
I'm not right wing. I'm not left wing for certain.
You're on the fence.
I'm not on the fence. I'm just not playing the game.
No.
I'm
And I
just,
don't think you know what, I think everybody should be entitled to have their own opinion, and that's the whole point of TikTok, when we can have these discussions. I want to ask this lady a question, please. Chili,
yeah,
Okay.
go on.
are you former military?
Nope.
You're not.
No.
You're a strong
I-
woman. You're a
20
strong
years.
woman. I'll give you that.
Why did you
Oh,
think
wait,
she
yeah,
was
I'm
former
a
military?
commercial fisherman.
I just got this vibe, but you know, everyone gets things wrong sometimes. It wouldn't matter if she was, but I could just imagine, like, you know, when you have like a visual thing in your mind, and I could just see her in like an outfit, in a like grenade kind of outfit.
Sorry, you might hear my goats screaming in the background.
By the way, guys, we're
are
not
they
we're not
fainting
we're
goats?
not debating, and we got a lot of people requesting. Guys, both give your final thoughts. We got 8 people waiting to speak. So if you could both give your final thoughts, I'm gonna have to.
You can drop me down. It's fine.
Okay, darling. Appreciate ya.
Love you.
All right, love. Bye bye. Chill, Betty. Did you want to give your final thoughts?
I hope she didn't. I want to follow her. My final thoughts are, yes, America is the greatest because we have put ourselves above our government, and we did that with our Constitution, which you can copy and follow.
No,
You
they're
can
too
copy that
hard-headed.
Constitution freely.
They're too hard-headed, man.
You can copy that Constitution. Take your part.
Yeah, we should copy it, right? Hands up, anybody who wants to copy the U.S. Constitution. Me. But I think we're too stubborn to do it. I don't think we're going to do it, Chill Betty. Or is it Chili Betty?
I think there might be a little, but you could actually, no, I'm talking about you physically printing it off or copying it, and you using your platform, because your country is geographically advantaged on its size, going around to your neighbors saying, hey, sign this, and you take that to your council meeting, or what do you call them, parliament, and say, hey, these people are going to vote for me because I'm going to bring this Constitution in.
That is a fucking...
Or you are going to bring it in.
That is a fucking excellent idea. You're basically saying, like, fuck these people, let's do it ourselves. That is a fire idea. I like that.
If you don't do it...
I like that. We definitely should do that. Like, let's do it ourselves. Like, okay. I like that, Chili Bear. Appreciate it. Nah, that was a good final thought. I'm going to drop you down there because we've got so many people waiting to request. But that was a great contribution to the live. I'm going to give you a follow as well.
Awesome.
All right. Take care of yourself. Guys, did you hear what she said? She said we should make our own constitution, go around and make people sign it. Would you guys vote for me? Bro, imagine if I had political power. That would be crazy. Would you guys vote for me? Would you vote for me? Bro, spat everywhere. No, yeah, I was spitting at you because you're a dirty leftist. What's up, Jerry? Jerry I didn't see what the other one was.
Hello, good evening, or not sure what time it is there. I'm in California, so it's almost 4 o'clock p.m. in California.
Are you agreeing or disagreeing? Because I want to take it back to the debates. So if you are agreeing, please say your piece relatively quick, and then because I'm looking for the disagree.
So
well.
I agree.
Okay.
And I know that I am partial because I was born and raised in America, so I do have that partial sentiment.
Yeah.
For America, but I believe that our values and our policies despite the government, when it comes to the American people, I believe are better. I believe that I'm trying to find the correct words. I believe that
principles,
the heart of the American people, the principles in the heart of the American people, we don't agree with our government. Whether a person falls on the liberal side or the conservative side, we both have our disagreements with the government. And that's what at times unifies us, although it can also be a separation point between the left and the right. But at heart, we left or right, liberal or conservative, we can all agree upon the fact that we don't want government to have ultimate power or ultimate rule over us. And we will never accept that.
Yeah, whereas it's fundamentally different in the UK, where people are generally saying that they do want the government to have power over multiple different sectors. In fact, very popular in the UK now, discussions are being had around more public sector ownership. In fact, that's probably the platform that Labour is going to campaign on in the next election. They're probably going to be talking about, yes, let's nationalise more things. I mean, that's effectively what Starmer did. He kind of was like a wolf in sheep's clothing. He promoted this idea of going back to like some of the more traditional left-wing Labour positions. Oh, more public ownership, nationalising, and then he's essentially just still the same old corporatist neoliberal kind of politician. But yeah, the reality is that whoever comes next from the Labour Party, they're probably going to be pushing that same old bullshit. Oh, more private sector ownership, more socialism. More welfare. That's all they got. Jerry, final thoughts, because I'm looking for the debaters.
For sure.
Anything you wanted to add?
I appreciate your time and I appreciate your conversation. I actually thought that this forum was would allow more than one person, so I thought that we were having sort of like one Brit and maybe one American with opposite opinions.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll mute you and then I'll bring someone else up, because the only problem is I don't know who disagrees until they come up. So just hold on a second and we'll see if we can get a disagree. If there's any disagreeers, make yourself known so that I can pull you out. I don't know, is Asher who's a disagreeer? I'm trying to find the more like the more weenie looking people. They tend to be the more lefty people. If they look more like a weenie. User 78 says, I believe in social... No, let me have to do it in the lefty voice. I believe in social democracy, nationalized education, transportation, healthcare. Okay, he didn't actually... What he said wasn't actually that bad. I'll take it back. Let's do it in a normal voice. I believe in social democracy, nationalized education, transportation, healthcare, utilities, and allow private ownership. That's basically what we have now, bro. Like, what the hell? I mean, there are some utilities that are not nationalized. Allow private ownership of houses and businesses. Do you know that if we got to that point, the leftists would start saying, no, we don't. We want to abolish private ownership. The landlords are cancer. That's what they'll be saying. Mary Louise says South Park. You know what? Me and my brother grew up watching South Park, so we still have that kind of like South Park sense of humor. That is the best sense of humor to have, is that like South Park sense of humor. Go! Oh my god! If you didn't watch South Park as a kid, that's what turns people into leftists. Okay. Drugs are just bad. Okay.
You took my job.
If you didn't watch South Park when you was a kid, that's what turns people into leftists. In the choir, little and the diction in the choir, mountain town. Off to the movies we will go, and we learn everything that we know. Cause the movies teach us what our parents don't have time to say. And this movie's gonna make our lives complete. Cause Terrence and Philip are sweet, super sweet. Yeah, man, if you didn't watch South Park, bro. Asher said, there are many leftists who watch South Park, but okay. See, you guys don't have a sense of humor. The left can't meme. The left can't meme. You make a joke about it. Oh, that's funny because, Actually, that's not what that means. That's what you guys are like.
Wait, and you 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 wait.
They're like, actually, it doesn't mean that. You don't even know what socialism means. You don't even know what socialism means. Dawn says you're corny, bro. You think you're hilarious. I'm pretty funny, bro. Sometimes I watch my own content back and I'm like,
I have
oh
to
my
stop
God.
unmuting myself, but you're killing me, bro. You're killing me.
Bro, you said I'm not funny, but sometimes I watch my own content back and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty funny. At least I entertain myself. User 782 says, stop generalizing broad groups of people. You contribute towards the vision. Dawn Watcher says, so you're a narcissist. You guys, man, you make yourself easy to rail on. That's the thing. Because this is how you guys act. You act like weenies. Stop taking life so seriously. Stop acting like a weenie. Me. That's the only voice that like is good enough for you guys. That's the only voice you can do when you're doing the lefty voice. Me. Mary Louise says, I love Simpsons too. My nickname at school was Barney. Oh, that's a fucking funny nickname. Mexican nose laughing. Oh gosh. Right, Jerry, it looks like I'm bringing people up, but they've been waiting. Sometimes when people have been waiting a long time, they give up waiting, but the TikTok live still shows them as a guest. Marie says, I
was
can
hoping
belch.
for a good debate. But,
Yeah,
in the
we got-
meantime, I'm just enjoying listening to you, bro. You're fucking killing me.
Oh, I appreciate it, brother man. We got no debate, so you just hit up the soundboard. We just gotta hit the soundboard. At this point, I mean, like, we didn't even hit the like target of 10,000 likes. It's like, that's crazy. Not hitting the like target is crazy. This was a pretty fun live, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the day though. My girl called me and she's probably mad talking about, why did you pick up the phone? She doesn't do that, man. That's not fair on my girl. But yeah, I gotta go, guys. I'm gonna run. I need to eat as well.
I'm gonna let you go, and you know why?
Yeah.
Cartman's mom is a big fat bitch, a big fat bitch, a big fat bitch. She's a big fat bitch, she's a big fat bitch, she's a big fat bitch, she's a big fat bitch.
Kyle's mom is a big fat hunch, the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. I mean, I'm into the answer we had to the big. Kyle's mom's a mean, she's such a dirty bitch. I really needed Kyle's mom. She's a big fat fucking
Mom, Kitty's being a dildo. Well, I know one kid who's sleeping with mom tonight.
Got it.
All right.
You bastard.
Bro.
See you later, bro. Oh man, you guys gonna be wanting to watch South Park. Dawn just says all 30 people will be devastated. Dawn, you're one of those 30 people. User 782, you don't debate, you yap, and I sit here watching you do it. I feel like leftists have this like sadomasochist thing to them, where it's like they always do things they don't like and they complain about it.
I just was forced to sit here and watch you go live for 3 hours. Who do you think you are? I saw it all. I sat and watched every moment of it.
Alright guys, I'm gonna head off now. Alright, take care everybody. See you later. Bye bye. Alright,